Hello and welcome to the second Michael Jordan episode of the Hoop 3 podcast, aka episode 69, in honor of his career-high 69-point game at Cleveland in 1990. My name is Logan Wertman, recording this one on the morning of Thursday, January 4th, in the year of our Lord 2024 for the first time. And as usual, I'm joined by my eager co-host, Jacob Roth. Jacob, how does it feel to be on the second Michael Jordan episode?
Feels pretty good. Feels pretty good.
Just gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, excited to be back. We took a little break for holidays, because we were either driving or just spending time with family and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was nice, and here we are, ready to rock and roll again.
Rejuvenated.
And the NBA season is well underway now. I feel like we're officially past it started, we're into the juice.
Maybe even the slog of the NBA
for
season.
Some, probably. Yeah.
For Jokic. But speaking of Jokic, Jacob actually promised on a previous episode. I don't remember how it came up. I think we were talking about, it was right after the Nuggets won the championship. We were talking about the parade, maybe, or I think you brought up Jokic, whether or not he will keep playing basketball, like how long his career will last, because of maybe retiring or something. But so you brought up that we had seen Jokic a number of years ago now. It's been a while, actually.
I'll set the stage, and you do the actual event, because you did way more at the actual event than I did. You actually talked. I didn't say anything.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Anyway, so we were visiting our buddy. Shout out Tanner. Shout out. He went to school out in the Denver area, the Denver metro area.
Lakewood, yeah.
Lakewood is where we were at. And we go to Olive Garden, our last day there. Or it was supposed to be our last day there, but we ended up getting snowed out there, right? So we stayed a couple more days.
And so we wouldn't have even been there that night, I don't think, because we would be... I don't know if we were supposed to leave earlier that was. We were supposed to leave. That was supposed to be the travel day, but it turned out the next day was going to be the travel day,
because of snow.
So we weren't even supposed to be there.
And then I tried to push it back later because I didn't want to go back to classes. I said, let's just not. And then our other friend was like, I'd like to go to class. And I was like, it's probably intelligent. We were in college. But this was after the Nuggets missed the playoffs because they lost to the Timberwolves in the final game of the regular season, and the winner got to decide who was the final seed, the last seed in the West. So, the whole trip, we're like, it'd be funny if we saw somebody, because why would they be here? They could be here. They're not going to be going play. They're not doing practice. Their season's over. They'd be wild if we saw somebody. Whatever.
Yeah.
So we go to
I think we specifically mentioned Jokic, too.
Well, who else would you talk about? I wouldn't say anybody else than Jokic, probably. But I was like, whatever, this will be cool. So we go to Olive Garden, and we're sitting there waiting for this ginormous wait. I remember the wait was egregiously long. And then I remember I went to the bathroom, and then I come out, and then this moment that Logan will tell everybody happens, because it made no sense. Nothing about it made sense. It was crazy. I was not ready. So I come out of the bathroom, and then this is what transpires, is what Logan will say, because he actually talked, and I just sat there like an idiot.
So this was in 2018 also. I don't know if you mentioned
that would have been the season. I just knew I didn't remember the year. I just remembered the season of it's when the T-Wolves and the Nuggets, the last game was essentially their first play. It was a play-in tournament before the play-in tournament.
Existed,
the 82nd game of the season was the playoff play-in, essentially.
Yeah, whoever won that game was making the playoffs. And that was the last time the Nuggets missed the playoffs also. I want to throw that out there. So that was Jokic's third season. And so we were just standing there sitting. I don't really remember what I was doing before, but we were just kind of standing there waiting. And then all of a sudden we just see these three huge people walk in through the doors. and like are walking up to the hostess or whatever you call that person in the waiting room, and then like I just saw the backs of their heads, and one of them, the tallest one, had just kind of like really short buzzed hair, and as a joke, because I thought, hey, that kind of looks like Jokic. But I was like, there's no way it is, I didn't even consider that it was. I just looked over at Jacob and I was like, look, dude, it's Jokic, as like a joke. And then you were like, wait, that actually might be him. And then, so I just kind of stood there watching, and then he like kind of turned his head so I could see his profile. And I was like, that is Nikola Jokic. And then, so they turned around because I think the hostess had just told them something not like they didn't want to hear about the wait, basically. Like it was going to be a long wait. So they turned around because they all kind of looked a little bit disappointed. And they start walking out. And then I look at Jokic and I'm like, hey, are you Nikola Jokic? And he just turned to me and said, sup, bro, and kept walking out. All the people around us in the waiting room were just kind of sitting there, like looking around, like they didn't know what was going on. And this was pretty early on in the Jokic era. Like I said, it was his third season. This was like the season before he made the All-Star team. But it was like the second half of this season was where he like really arrived, Like
he wasn't like, did we make a mistake picking him over Nurkic? Like it was already acknowledged they made the correct decision.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, it wouldn't happen in today's world.
Yeah,
there'd be no way that dude could walk through Denver and go to an Olive Garden and be fine.
And
if anybody wondering, they ended up, I do remember this, is like everybody walked outside and then they came back inside. So Olive Garden did accommodate the Jokic's.
Which I think was because of me also, because the whole waiting room, everybody was like didn't know what was happening. And I was like, do you guys know who that is? And like the hostess and like other people were like, no. I was like, that's the best player on the Nuggets. He's just in Olive Garden. And then I think like somebody, like the workers went and like talked to somebody, and then people went out and got them back, and they brought them back to like a private room that we could kind of see from our table too, like the private room they were in.
We saw them eating, and we like really thought about like, it'd be cool, but we shouldn't. We should just let them live their life. We already had our moment too. Mm-hmm. We had our moment to be like, that's wild. And yeah. And I guess
we let the little kids go in. There were some kids that went in there and talked to him, but I figured we already said, I already said something to him. It would be weird to go, and I just didn't want to bother him. So, but it was cool enough just to have that story. And then we were sitting there like calling people. We called our friend Anthony, who's made appearances on this podcast, and he did not believe us. Like for a long time, he thought we were lying. Like the whole time we were trying to convince him. But
and then we had a picture of the room. And then we had to be like, no, this is him in the picture.
Yeah.
And then we had another buddy that was with us that doesn't care at all about anything. And then it was his testimony that finally got Anthony to believe us, to be like, oh, wait, this is like, he's not messing with it.
Yeah.
These are all real. It was wild.
Mm-hmm.
So you could say that Nikola Jokic was the first NBA player to ever acknowledge the Hoop Theory podcast.
Yeah.
Hypothetically.
Before Isaiah Roby, yeah. Honestly. Well,
Hoop
Theory didn't even exist at the time.
Was it Next Man Up at that point?
We didn't have any. Yeah, that was our just a year, less than a year after we graduated high school. Because that was
Jeez Louise.
Spring of 2018. Yeah. So we were still very young. That was also the same trip, by the way, that our friend Christian, shout out to another friend, almost got bit by a rattlesnake while we were hiking. If you remember that.
I was recording. The people probably don't care. Anyway, I'm going to say the story anyway. Because I was recording recording physically with the camera my final project for one of my classes.
Mm-hmm.
And I set my camera up and then helped Christian up the rock because I couldn't climb up this rock with all of my camera stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so then Christian goes up, and as his head pops up, the rattle goes, and he's like, what is going on?
Yeah.
His
hand was probably, I don't know, 18 inches from this coil.
Within lunging distance
of
a rattlesnake.
And he just freezes, and then in like one swift motion, just kind of like pushes off of it and backpedals a little bit. And then the snake was just, sitting there minding its business, but definitely very agitated.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah. Crazy moments, but crazy memories. So we will...
also, because I don't know when we'll say this one. Oh, I've already told that we saw the Jokic brother outside of the arena when we were walking in, outside of the Pepsi Center or Ball Arena. I feel like we told that story.
Yeah. I think we did.
Yeah, we're out of stories now, everyone. We have no more Nuggets people stories.
Uh-huh. But the other two guys there with Jokic at the Olive Garden were his brothers. I don't know if you mentioned that, but yeah. That's why they were all
They didn't say
huge.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, moving on to the next topic for today is probably the one we'll spend the most time on, and that is also involving Jokic to a degree. So, and that is the MVP conversation, because I would put Jokic at number 2 right now. I think there's some places putting him behind, like SGA at 3, but in my opinion, I'd probably have Jokic there at 2. Number 1, though, I think is pretty definitively, honestly, Joel Embiid.
Yes,
Joel
I
do a
think
180
that is
Embiid.
correct.
Yeah.
That is for sure the person in first. Before we were recording, I'm a hater. Fun fact, if you didn't know, Joel Embiid, I just everything about it makes me mad.
Mm-hmm. But you've also had a weird fondness at the same time for him over the years as well. Oh,
no. It's pretty much what it is if it does not involve Boston basketball, Joel Embiid is like my favorite person ever. Because he's funny. Yeah. It's the same thing with like Trae Young. When you're watching Trae Young do the whole Trae Young things to like anybody else, you're like, this is entertaining. But then he's doing it to your team, you're like, I want to strangle that man.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's like, and I think that what makes him like, it makes you an entertaining basketball player. Because like, if Jokic beats the Celtics with a Sombor shuffle, I'll be pissed and I won't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
But watching someone take a video of a Sombor shuffle over Anthony Davis in the playoffs and then put Creed's Can You Take Me Higher as the background music and then just zoom into parts of the crowd, I love that stuff. That's awesome. So maybe that's just like the marking of a good entertaining player is like when it's like not affecting you and your team and your cares, you're all about it. But I just Joel Embiid makes me mad, and but he definitely is having a very good season in the amount of games he's played, which has kind of been. He takes like weeks off, like he's already done that twice.
Really? He's missed that many games? I thought it was only like a couple.
It might not be that many, but I know that he just like because I don't think he didn't play Christmas. He didn't play through Christmas at all.
I knew he didn't play Christmas Day, but I think overall though he's been pretty healthy. This year he has played, I guess he's missed a chunk. 26 games he's played this year out of
their...
What are they at?
32, probably-ish.
Probably-ish, yes. But what is their record? Why does it not tell you that on Basketball Reference on their page? 23-10, so 33. So that's 7 games.
7 games. Yeah. Not on the nose.
So yeah, you're right, actually, though. That's like 2 weeks of basketball games.
No, I'm not like I am a hater, but not like a uneducated hater.
Yeah, it was just also, earlier this season. It took a while for this season before he even missed a game. I think he played like the first 14 or 15 games this year, and
then he didn't play the Nuggets. That's his first game off, I think, or maybe it was the Celtics, and then the Nuggets. They had like a back-to-back. Well, they wouldn't have a back-to-back against those two teams.
I don't think we've played the Sixers yet. I don't think so.
I thought you did. Maybe I'm mumbling up years.
Yeah, I think you are. Are you saying the one where
yet. You played him twice this month?
The one where Embiid didn't even show up. Is that the one you're talking about?
Didn't travel at all. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
last year. Second time last year. Yeah. My brain. Oh, because it was right around the MVP.
Yeah, it was. He wanted to keep his odds because they had faced each other once and Embiid outplayed him, and so he was like, I'm not going to play him in Denver. I want to win the MVP. I need everything to go my way in the narrative. So that's kind of what I wanted to talk about here is that last year, the decision for last year is making me so much more angry now because he's
earning one now.
Exactly. Because I was like, after last one, I felt pretty good about it's okay. Like, Jokic will get another one this year. And then this year, it's like Jokic is playing fine, but this is the first time I think he's had a worse season than the one previous since maybe 2020.
Which is understandable due to what he did last year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like, it'd be hard to be like, just get better than that.
Yeah.
Which further makes the fact that he didn't get MVP kind of wild.
Yeah. And I would say that another weird thing about it is just his attitude seems a bit different, or his approach at times is like, it's a stark contrast from what Jokic used to be. Like, when Jokic used to be frustrated with like the officials not getting calls and things like that, like if scoring wasn't working very well, like he would just take a back seat and basically not shoot, and then he would become a lot more passive. Now there's been a few games where it seems like he just gets so mad that he just starts shot chucking, which is like the weirdest thing to see for Jokic to do. It's like very out of character. But he had the game against the Clippers where, I don't know if you saw that, he missed the most shots he's ever missed in a game in his career. He had 23 missed shots. He was 9 for 32, which is like a terrible game, but still, like, especially for Jokic, is like,
he like stops he'd like normally stop at like 17.
Yeah.
You expect to miss like 8 shots. Like, he just would stop shooting.
Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because last year, I don't know if people who didn't remember, like, there was towards the end of the season, we were, I think, 59 actually. 59 games into the season, and I asked you how many games you think that he hadn't shot above 50% that year.
Jeez.
And I think you said 7. It was only one.
I knew it was one.
It was one game, that whole first 59 games, that he didn't shoot at least 50%. So that's really weird for him to go 9 of 32 in a game, and then the game immediately after that, he was like 9 for 26. Like, he had a big week there where it was like just off Jokic games. He's missing a lot of shots that he normally makes. But I think officiating had a big thing to do with that as well. Like, just he had a really terrible whistle, a big game stretch in a row. And then all of a sudden, he started getting all of the calls he needed, or like all the calls you could ask for. And the Christmas Day game and one other like big primetime game that happened where Jokic was just getting all these calls. I think it was before Christmas, but it's just kind of funny because it makes Nuggets fans look even more crazy, because Nuggets fans this whole year have been like complaining about Jokic not getting calls. And then like the two of the biggest games of the year for where the most people are watching Jokic, he's getting like 18 free throws, So it doesn't help our case very much, but it was nice to see those games happen, though. They're very out of the ordinary. But I guess where I'm going with this was that last year felt like Jokic definitely had a very good case for winning the MVP over Embiid. I personally thought he should have. And this year it is like far and away Joel Embiid so far.
The other way around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So
I am also in the camp, and it's also, this is not a logic brain. This is my heart. I really want Shea to be 2. I know he's not, but he's 3, and you cannot change my mind.
Mm-hmm.
What he's done, especially in the past 2 weeks to week and a half, the teams that the Thunder have beat, and Shea's been a huge part of that. I'm just all in on the Shea thing.
Yeah, I like that. I could see putting Luka over him, but I feel like I'd probably put Shea 3rd right now.
The 50-point double-double on Christmas is hard to overlook. Because Luka has the good regular stats, and then to have against the Suns this just explosion.
Yeah, and also Dallas's success this year when me and you thought they were going to be terrible. Yeah, well, not terrible, but very subpar for a team that has Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving on it.
Yeah,
but they've looked really good so far this year.
But I'm just because also this is a thing that I thought about. Who is the best American MVP? Who's the highest of the American MVP odds? Because
because Shea's Canadian. I totally forgot about that. I guess where would Tatum be at right now? Tatum would have to be pretty high because how good
7?
the Celtics are. Yeah.
6 or 7, but he's not doing anything crazy.
Yeah.
Because, like, I'd go
Ant,
Embiid, Jokic, Shea, Giannis, Luka.
You put Giannis over Luka? Or are you just going non-order?
It'd probably be that order, just flip the two of them. So it'd be Embiid, Jokic, or I want it to be Shea, but it's not Shea. And then Shea, Luka, Giannis is probably like my 5 order.
Yeah. And then Ant probably could be 6th. KD would be up there, even though the Suns haven't done super well. He's just been like
I think Tatum would be above
them.
KD.
Yeah, that's fair.
But Ant, I guess, would also do it. So it's probably like Ant at 6, Tatum at 7. Hallie, like, ever since the NCAA tournament has like stopped, like people stopped caring about him, but he's still he's still doing good. Mm-hmm. He's not like dropped off a cliff like the coverage of him has.
Yeah.
AD, honestly, AD's probably somewhere up there ish.
Yeah.
Not that high, but like
I don't know if him or LeBron would be higher right now, but they're around the same level. But like outside the top 5, all of them are American. If you think about it.
So it's just the top 5 are
foreign.
That's just crazy. We talked about it before, but like that's wild.
Mm-hmm. It is really wild.
And like you said, Shea kind of, but yeah, it counts for sure.
Yeah, because
he plays on the world team.
Yeah. I think he's from like he's lived his whole life in Canada. He's born and raised 100% Canadian.
A full-on legitimate Canadian individual.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Man, I hate this. Have you noticed when you start typing something into Google nowadays, they bring up like AI search option instead of like the normal like Google result option?
No,
I accidentally click on that all the time. It makes me mad. Because it doesn't even bring me. Yeah, it's confusing. I don't know if it's just a Chrome thing. Do you use Chrome?
I do use Chrome.
Oh, so maybe I'm just special.
Also, I don't know if I've Googled from the just regular Google page.
Oh, I just do it like in the URL bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where.
Like, I'm gonna look up.
Just type in a name, somebody's name, and there should be like a thing, unless I have some like app installed, like extension, web browser extension. There should be like a result instead of like a search bar or search icon next to it. It has like a little blue squiggly line.
Yeah, I don't have that at all.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense.
Also, shout out, first person that popped into my head when you said Google a person, James Brown. I don't know why. It just happened.
Like the singer?
Yep.
Okay.
Shout out.
Nice. James Brown is just like a super generic name. I thought maybe it was an athlete or something, but
nope. I was thinking of that James Brown.
Yeah,
like the singer guy that like
Yeah.
Had like an O.J. Simpson-esque police chase.
Yeah. Shout out to him.
People like forget about.
Shout out to James Brown. Shout out to O.J. Simpson.
That's like me forgetting what Josh Primo did. Shout out to O.J. Simpson.
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't defend O.J. Simpson.
I forgot it.
We need to clip that also. Just kidding.
No, we don't.
Yeah, I probably would clip that. But
the me forgetting what I was like
in defense of Josh Primo. Yeah.
That was pretty bad. That was pretty bad.
Yeah. Anyways, so
getting back onto the ladder, also known as the MVP ladder.
Mm-hmm.
Man, transition all to. Why is Giannis so bad at basketball?
What do you mean? What did you
I'm
bring
just kidding.
up right now?
I feel like
that he should be higher or
lower. Like, where do you have Giannis at? Like 5?
I don't know.
Is that like
5th is around the level that he's probably at. I haven't really mapped it all out yet, but
you think like you put him under Shea and Luka?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sick.
For this year. And you're just saying that makes him bad because
no,
like
I just wanted to. I feel like we've talked about everybody else in the top 5 like a little bit, and then just not like given any. We just have said Giannis. We haven't like given like Giannis like the why we view him lower. So I was bringing up.
Yeah, I mean he's playing really well. He's playing really great. He's played all the games this year. It looks like. least close to all of them. He's missed one, but they're 24-10. Milwaukee's doing better than I was even thinking in my head.
They've got stuff figured out. I mean, and even when they were struggling, they just looked bad, but they still won games, which I think is like something that's worth bringing up. That even when they were quote unquote bad, they were still winning a lot of those games.
Yeah. I think they started off like 6-4 was really the worst it was.
Yeah.
So, in hindsight, not all that concerning. But we covered it quite a bit on this podcast. How concerned, at least you were. We both were, but you were like the Bucks. You were like, I'm convinced the Bucks are terrible.
And it wasn't. I just got angry when everybody was like, "Yeah, they're gonna roll through the East, no problems." And I'm like, "What do you mean?"
Celtics are definitely,
and that's probably because my heart cared. But like, what do you mean they would roll through no problems? That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Are you insane? Like, there's other if you. Yeah, anyway, that does not matter. I've talked about this ad nauseum before. But
So the other thing, other detail with this MVP discussion that we wanted to touch on was something that you had sent me yesterday, which was a quote from Patrick Beverley
which is another guy that I love until
he opens his mouth.
Your team is dealing with them. No. Oh. Until you're but I love PatBev. Just the way that what he with the T-Wolves, we made the playoffs, all these young guys, and he was I love PatBev. He makes me so mad sometimes.
Yeah.
So all the clips that people will be like, well, you said this about PatBev, it's probably because he made me mad about the Celtics or something.
Yeah, my favorite PatBev moment, just to interject really quick, is the camera where when he goes up to the ref and shows the play, the missed foul call on the camera of the photographer that was sitting sideline,
and then is confused why
he got a technical. Yeah, he's technical. Yeah.
Or was
I think he just got attacked.
Just a tech. But he was just like, "What do you mean?" And very clearly, that is blatantly one of the things you cannot do.
Yeah,
is tell a ref they're wrong using evidence.
I feel like I see his point about how, because the players, everybody goes and stands with the ref and points up at the screen up at the top of, and show they do it there. But he was like, so why can't I do that on the camera before they show the replay? But but yeah, it was definitely a creative way to go about it. But sorry, continue with your
No, it's all good. That is an all-time PatBev moment. The Creed video of Jokic almost came up again, so that would have been loud. But anyway, the quote, I'm gonna get the quote itself correct. Beverly said that his teammate Embiid is on pace for the quote greatest season in NBA history.
Yeah,
that's wild.
That evoked a strong reaction,
emotional response from me. Because I'm like, what?
Yeah.
The numbers might be fancy, but that doesn't mean it's the greatest season. I don't even think it's the greatest center season in NBA history.
Who would it be?
If you want to,
who would be over him? I guess
Shaq.
That's
some of those Shaq years,
2001.
That
probably
his numbers might have not looked crazy, but he also wasn't the only guy on his team. He had Hall of Famer Kobe Bryant also there doing numbers and having things. But and I guess it depends on what statistics you want to look, but and anybody's gonna be like, well, that one season, Will Chamberlain almost averaged 90 points, 60 points a game. It's because they had 45 more possessions a game. Calm down. Do the math per possession. I get it. The number.
It's still crazy even when you adjust for possession, but it was Will Chamberlain was nuts, also a stat chaser as well.
Yes, he is Russell Westbrook's father.
Yeah,
just straight up. Outside of biologically, he just is.
Yeah.
But I understand that Embiid has these big fancy numbers because last I looked, it was 30 something points,
35
points
a game,
12 boards,
6
and then
assists.
How many assists?
Over 6.
That is the one thing that is impressive about Embiid this year is he's actually kind of a good passer. In the sense of
really good.
like he's never been terrible, but he's like not done it. Like the physical ability to pass, he's never been bad, but he hasn't like done it in game all the time. But it seems like it's a point of like maybe it's the Nick Nurse like
it's definitely the Nick Nurse offense, and Embiid probably working on that too.
Other guys around you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, and shout out to Embiid for that, but where like I just feel like throwing the word the greatest single season in NBA history is wild. That's a crazy thing to say.
I mean, it is, but what's even crazier is that it's not that off base from, I don't think it's that wrong. Like, it's hard to argue that it's not at least a candidate for like 35, 12, and 6 on 89% from the free throw line. And he shoots 12 of them a game. 54% from the field, 35% from 3.
Is that with your garbage time stats?
This is just Basketball Reference's straight up counting stats.
Because this is my other part of the Embiid thing.
Yep. Which I agree with your take on this too.
And you can be... I'm a hater. You don't have to type in your little furious TikTok comments and YouTube comments and Facebook whatever. I know I'm a hater. I understand. You don't need to tell me. But Joel Embiid gets way too much. Same thing with Giannis sometimes. Gets so much just like, oh, look at this guy. Yeah, I hope that he's able to like absolutely cook for 18 points in the fourth quarter against Luke Cornett.
Yeah, or the Wizards or the Hornets or...
In back-to-back nights, have you ever seen a man be this dominant 2 games in a row? Yeah, when the two teams that are already bad and then just don't have a center...
Yeah.
Yeah. The Hornets use a 6'9" guy as their center all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's like their go-to.
PJ Washington, is that who you're talking about? Or who?
I guess he's not center, he's power forward.
But no, he plays center quite a bit. But he's like 6'7". So it's even...
Oh, wow. I was giving PJ Washington too much credit.
Yeah.
Shout out to that guy.
Uh-huh.
And then I also think that I was mixing around for some reason. Thought Jaren Jackson Jr., who is a very good defensive player.
Yeah.
Not disrespect, but he's just not a center-sized human.
He's center height. His bulk though is pretty thin. He's probably 7'1", 7 foot at
Jaren Jackson Jr.?
Yeah. At minimum, he's 7 foot.
I swore that this dude was like a little Draymond. What the?
Dude, Jaren Jackson Jr. is huge.
Am I stupid? I am just stupid.
He's like...
Did he have a growth spurt?
Yeah, he did after his rookie season. But still, when he came into the league, he was at least 6'10". Like he's
listed at 6'10" on Wikipedia. So
that was probably his draft measurements.
Yeah, for some reason I thought he was like a little Draymond guy.
I heard from Verno at
Basketball Reference, he is still listed at 6'10".
Is that real? Okay.
It's Basketball Reference. I don't know.
I'm just saying. Go look at Joel Embiid and Jaren Jackson Jr. standing next to each other. They are within an inch of each other's height.
Well, KD was 6'9" until like HD cameras were invented. So the heights are like this very relative thing.
I heard from Verno talking about the Grizzlies like camp basically this past year or 2 years ago, I think is when this happened, where they measured everybody. He said that Jaren Jackson Jr. measured at 7'1".
Yeah, for some reason, I just always thought that Jaren Jackson Jr. was like a very long-armed. Am I mixing him up with somebody else in my brain that's like the same era of like draft class?
I think he's in the same class as the Bridges, Mikal Bridges and Miles Bridges.
Like crazy long arms and just like 6'9" and plays center.
Yeah.
Is it just Draymond and I'm confusing? I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's just taller than you thought he was, probably. He's a big guy, but he's not big and bulky though. Like he's probably like 235, maybe
242 is what he's listed on Basketball Reference.
Yeah, makes sense.
Anyway, sorry, I went off a little bit. I just was so confused because I swore he was like 6'9".
So what was your point though before we started talking about Jaren Jackson Jr.?
Yeah, no duh that Joel Embiid can bully the Hornets and the Wizards.
Yeah.
No duh. Like,
He hasn't played for either of those teams. Do you realize that? Maybe,
I know. That's what I said. I think I messed it up in my brain.
Okay.
I think
Daniel
I
Gafford?
messed it up with Bridges. No, I think what I did is I messed up the Bridges because they're like this. They're not the same person at all. One of them's a defensive player of the year.
They were teammates in college, though. Miles Bridges. And
I don't know what weird synapses fired in my brain to just be wrong, but they did. Yeah, I hope Joel Embiid can like dominate those teams, and that's not moving his like points per game like astronomical. He's still doing a lot.
Those are his big like the 50-point nights and stuff. Those were against those teams, but
well, no, I know that, but I'm saying like your points per game, 250s don't like catapult you up 6 points per game. You know what I'm saying?
They could. He's played 26 games. He's like those. If you're talking about those 2 games alone. Yeah, sure, but there's been other games he plays against weaker teams that he goes all out in the fourth quarter where he doesn't, it's like garbage time or it's like which isn't it's not. I don't think it's inherently wrong, but I just feel like people should see that more. You know what I mean? Where it's like when you're comparing Jokic to Joel straight up, their counting stats, it's like Jokic will leave a game with like the other night he had 9, 8, and 7, I think, something like that. He had a triple single. He had all single digit stats. And he left the game because they were up by so much against the Mavericks. And he was in full control of that game. But
this might be way worse than we thought.
The thing is, he just left the game with 9, 8, and 7 and didn't come back in and didn't care. Because he was like,
he did have 45 against the T-Wolves. That one is real. That counts.
Did Gobert play? I'd be interested.
Go check.
He probably did, but just wondering. Because that's just a common Embiid thing. He'll go off against teams that
Gobert did play, but if you look, Gobert did play. If you look at their plus minus, Gobert was +6. Naz Reid was negative 27 on his plus minus. So I wonder where Embiid's points came in. Karl-Anthony Towns was also +8.
Oh, wow.
So it was definitely when they were rocking like Naz Reid and
Kyle Anderson maybe, or Jaden McDaniels at the 4. Somebody like
probably
that.
Jaden McDaniels at the 4. Because Nickeil Alexander-Walker also has negative or minus 24. So that's probably when they moved him in and moved Jalen McDaniels down to be the 4.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, that not as impressive. Still impressive,
still
but not
crazy.
As impressive as I thought.
Yeah, it's still crazy. It's just like a little bit. It's just different than like their personalities are so different. Jokic and Embiid. Jokic going against weak competition is like, oh, my team is a lot better than this team. I'm just going to play how I like to play passively, and we're going to destroy them. And he will not put up any numbers. But like Embiid is like, ooh, a bad team that I could just like destroy all night and put up like gaudy numbers. I'm going to go do that because I want to win MVP. Which
this is actually
it's fine.
wild.
Maybe if that person does that, it's like, sure, maybe like you shouldn't even look at it, shouldn't even think about it because it's like that person just deserves MVP then because they're being intentional about going. But like the thing is, what we're trying to measure with MVP is how valuable they are to their team, and going out and just trying to put up the most numbers possible isn't necessarily always helping your team. Like you can do that at the detriment of your team's success, like Russell Westbrook in 2017. At times,
this is really bad. Actually, I've never this is crazy. So I'll just let Toronto 34, Portland 35. Then you go like Phoenix 26, Boston 27, Detroit 33, Indianapolis 39 and 37, Boston 20, Atlanta 32, OKC 35. Well, OKC's an okay, but he's got the like.
There's nobody there that's gonna guard Joel Embiid.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, it's only like really bad teams is what he like feasts upon.
Yeah.
Then he had his 50 points against Washington, 38 against Atlanta, 34 against Washington, 41 against Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
51 against Toronto, and then the 51 against Minnesota.
Yeah, which 51, I guess Pirtle is there, but still, Pirtle's not a great like one-on-one man defender.
Toronto was 31. 51 was the Minnesota game. I said it wrong. That's my fault. My brain crossed numbers around.
He scored 51 against Minnesota?
Against Minnesota.
50. Yeah. Okay. Wow.
But that was like the game that I was looking at earlier. I think I messed up, and it was like I did the 45 as the game score.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
It's just right next to points, and I was confused.
Yeah, it's like an advanced metric. But
and then he took a week off and came back and had a thunderous 31 against Chicago.
Yeah. And that's below his average. He's averaging 34.8, like we've mentioned. So it's
it's like a lot of like 30-point games and then like explosions against bad teams, and then against like good teams with a good center or good defense, just meh.
Yeah.
Like, again, he is a perennial MVP candidate. Meh does not mean he scores 12 points a game. It means like 20 to 25.
Mm-hmm.
For everyone that thinks that I think Joel Embiid sucks, no, he is a perennial MVP candidate. How would he suck at basketball? He's very good at basketball. He is constantly near the top 3 to 5 players.
Yeah. This will be the 4th year now, at least, that he's a top 3 MVP candidate.
I also think that just because I'm going to rub it in our friend Anthony's face that we were for sure right. Do you know what else happened about 4 years ago?
We saw Jokic at Olive Garden.
And
that's almost
Benjamin
6 years ago,
Simmons,
actually.
Yeah, Benjamin Simmons is no longer a Sixer.
What?
Ben Simmons is no longer a Sixer.
So what was 4 years ago?
That's what lined up, is Ben Simmons was no longer a Sixer.
4 years ago?
I'm pretty sure.
It has been not been 4 years since Ben Simmons left the Sixers. 4 years ago? That was the bubble season. Not even 4 years ago today. We weren't even at the bubble yet. Like we were still playing a normal season pre-COVID.
So it's 3 years ago. He was out of the Sixers. The 2022 season, which starts in 2021.
Yeah, and this one started in 2023, so it's 2 years, right? It wasn't the year last year; it was the year before that.
For some reason, I thought it'd be 4. I don't know why I thought it'd been 4.
And it was also late. It was towards the end of this season, I think, wasn't it? It was like towards the deadline.
I'm going to read.
Yeah.
Unrelated, but I'm not going to read. It doesn't matter. I was wrong. Apologies, everyone on the internet.
Oh, so you were saying that when he started becoming an MVP candidate.
When he became, because obviously he was always good, but like, well, he's not as good because Ben Simmons there and it doesn't work. Like, worse than Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, which people think is the same level of bad. And I'm like, you're crazy. That is not the same level of bad.
Yeah.
I don't even think it's close to the same level of bad. But
there were a couple good Embiid and Simmons, like where Embiid was an MVP candidate and Simmons was still there. But it skyrocketed even more after Simmons left.
He was gone.
Yeah. And this is by far Joel Embiid's magnum opus at the moment.
Yes. I just was taken aback by the lingo of greatest season of all time.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just don't think that it's that crazy because players, I think just the talent in the NBA that's just how it works. Players are getting better and better. And
I guess doing this against like the strongest the NBA has been in an ever, you know.
Mm-hmm. Even though he's doing it against the weakest of the opponents at the moment. But we said the Pistons could have maybe been like a playoff team in 2013, 2014. Mm-hmm. I mean, I wouldn't be
better than LeBron James? Question mark.
Preseason, I wouldn't have been surprised if the Pistons ended up in the play-in this year.
We will also, speaking of that, because we are a little bit against the wall today in terms of how long we can talk.
Yeah.
We'll do like a whole episode probably around the midpoint of the season and re-look at like where we're standing in terms of our locks and our ups and our downs and our overs and our unders and our lefts and our rights in terms of what we felt about teams going into the season and where we are incorrect. As Logan brought up, Pistons.
the Pistons is one that I'm going to be very wrong on. I think we're both wrong on it, but I used my lock on the over. So,
I think you talked me into it even.
Probably.
Because I remember I was like, I don't know. I didn't think they'd be this bad. So you're not like alone. I'm like, they're this bad? That's crazy. But I did not think they would tie the NBA record for most losses in a row by a franchise.
Mm-hmm. It was
also shout out
nuts.
to the Detroit Lions. In the calendar year of 2023-24, you won more games than the Detroit Pistons did. So
2023 calendar year. Yeah.
Yeah, so, that's not a calendar year. That's 2 years. I'm stupid.
They won 11 games because they're 11-5 now, the Lions.
Yep.
And the Pistons won 10. They barely got that 10th game. They squeezed that in right at the end of the year. And I guess I should have done this beforehand, but looking at how many games they played in that year, so they lost.
Did they tie actually? Did you look at them?
Yeah, they tied.
I'm pretty sure that
28.
I'm talking about the. There is no good way to see the record on the Lions website.
I know they're 11-5 after the Cowboys loss. I remember
that made them 11-5. It wasn't.
Yeah.
The Cowboys parentheses loss. Garbage.
What?
That was so terrible.
Yeah. Like the Cowboys should have lost, but
yes.
Yeah, they would have. Now they're.
It's different when a ref like messes up and like gets the play wrong on a play that doesn't straight up win the game. But like when the touchdown happens or the 2-point conversion happens, the Lions physically scored, and then the refs are like, wrong call. That makes me even more mad.
Yeah, and I don't even get what the issue was. They were saying that the other lineman didn't wasn't an eligible receiver, but he wasn't even trying to be an eligible receiver, right? The guy on the
he didn't
right
even
side.
talk to the ref. What happened was the ref just got the wrong person and threw the flag, and instead of picking it up after like thinking, they just stuck with it. And obviously the Lions had another chance to do it, but like once you already score, like you've already done the thing to win. You know what? Like, that's just
insane.
Crazy.
That is insane.
No, that's like the equivalent of like hitting a 3-pointer, the ref going, "That was a 2," but you get like another chance for some reason. But the ref was just wrong.
Yeah. Are you bringing up the LeBron thing?
No. I just was saying like a scenario of
that's like a perfect.
I was trying to think of is that what happened to LeBron? I don't know.
Oh, you didn't see any of that? He was so mad. Okay. So
it's like, but it's where you do the thing and then the ref just being wrong takes the thing you already did away. Like it's different when they get like the wrong call and it's like, oh, he could have scored. Not he did already score.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just is so just anger.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that was an insane highway robbery. But they've played one game. The Pistons have played one game in the year so far, right? Let's just look at this. 2 losses, so 29. So they're 3-29 in this season for 2023, and then the year before this they were 7-36. Yeah, they went 10 and 36 plus 29 is 65. They went 10-65. The Pistons went 10-65 in the calendar year of 2023, and the Detroit Lions went 11-4. I think do you think that's ever happened before?
No, there's no like it.
Where an NFL team and an NBA team from the same season or from the same city.
What year were the Sixers? Like, what are some of the terrible Sixers years?
2016, 2015, in there.
2017, or is that too late? That's too late.
That might have been a really bad year too.
The Eagles might have done it then.
Yeah.
What are some other just atrocities? Oh, nope. Panthers were bad then. What was like a terrible Charlotte Bobcats year?
2012 was the really bad year.
But it has to be 2 of them, right? For NBA? Like back to back?
Oh, yeah. It would be like the tail end of the season prior and then the first half of not first half, but like first third of the next season. But yeah, it's like 65 games-ish. Yeah. It's just kind of
I'm just trying to think of some other just bad.
I would be surprised if that has ever happened before. Especially in a season that like the NBA it's not a lockout shortened season or anything. It's like a normal.
You have to win single-digit games, essentially.
Yeah. Or as we've learned at max, like 10 something, very low, double digits, which is hard to do. 10-65 that might be the worst winning percentage in NBA history for a season, because the Bobcats went, oh no, it wouldn't be. That would be better than, never mind. That'd be actually better than the Sixers' worst season, because that was 9-73. But still, very bad. And another thing regarding the Pistons, I don't know if you wanted to talk about the LeBron thing at all that you kind of brought up in our break. I don't know if that will still be in here, but you brought up as an example, because we were talking about the Detroit and Cowboys shebang or I almost said tabernacle debacle. There we go.
Your Nuggets might have done it.
Really?
Oh, I need to look into the specifics.
In the mid-teens?
The 97-98 Nuggets.
Oh, the 90s.
Oh, because there was just 11 wins in that season, so I need to look at when they happened. But those are like very good Broncos teams.
Okay, that would make sense. The mid-teens, I would doubt that we would be that bad. I think we had a couple bad seasons, but not like...
It might be 98. The Broncos won 14 games in the 1998 season, so 97 and 98.
Like the 98 calendar year.
Yes, the 98 calendar year, the Broncos won. I will look into this and we will know. That's what we'll open up next episode with.
Okay, yeah, that's a good idea.
Because I've got a list of the worst like games or seasons in NBA history.
Mm-hmm.
And like once we get like lower, it gets kind of tough.
Yeah.
Like, because it already jumps, like that's already an 11 win season in 1998 for the Nuggets.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll look into it and we'll see.
Yeah.
Actually, there's a 93 Mavericks right above it that's also 11. The Cowboys might have done that. We'll look into it and we'll tell you tomorrow. Yeah. I'm just kidding, whenever we record.
So it might have happened before, but still, it's pretty rare, a rarefied air for sure, of how dog water of a season or two seasons that the Pistons have had. But anyways, going into, what I was trying to get into just there was we were talking about Detroit Lions versus the Cowboys debacle at the end of that game where the ref just completely missed that call. You brought up as like a parallel to basketball, a play where a player would shoot a 3.
Makes a 3.
But they call it a 2 when it was actually a 3, but they call it a 2.
But it was very clearly a 3. Like, there's not a question. Like, they just got the call wrong and won't change their mind back.
And so that reminded me of, and probably most people listening, of the LeBron craziness from the other night with the 3-point versus 2-point basket call towards the end of the game against the Wolves. Very, very close game. So it was in transition. LeBron, like, are you watching the video right now? Or
yeah, you
are. So I personally think that so I know that if you look at the one freeze frame that LeBron keeps showing the ref and everybody, that there's some space between the line and his foot. But if you keep watching the clip, if like as he's taking off from the ground, it gets to a point where it is literally impossible to tell if he was touching the line or not. And that was the reason the ref gave for not being able to overturn the call on review, because he's like, there's not clear and concise enough evidence to be able to say that you didn't touch the line before you released the shot, which is the rule.
You know what I think we should do?
What?
Move the 3-point line back and let the line count.
Why?
Like in every other sport ever.
What do you mean? How that works in every other sport?
Like, isn't it in like tennis? If it touches the line, it's out. So it doesn't count.
Line in tennis is in.
So then tennis is wrong. Because line in volleyball is out.
No, line in volleyball is in. In every sport like that, the line is in. Like, except for the one where you were walking like with the ball when you step on the line.
For volleyball, line is in?
Yeah, 100%. When the ball hits the line in volleyball?
My brain is literally, I just watch on the television, only Nebraska volleyball, and our line is just red. The whole thing is just red. If it touches the red, it has to touch some of the other to be in. Right?
I don't think it's anything like that. It's just if the ball is outside of the line, not touching the line at all, and it's on the outside, then it is out.
Yeah, this is all terrible.
I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong, I guess, but that's how when you play pickup volleyball, that's how everybody plays. If it hits the line, it's in.
Yeah, for sure. You're definitely right now that I'm thinking. It has to be totally out of the line. If it touches the line, it's in.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's what I'm saying to do. Yeah, so I am. I was just thinking like a monkey person for a second. Like, so make the same with basketball. Move the line back so it's the same distance.
But,
you know what I'm saying?
But in is like, it's just the binary is like, why is the 3 in and the not 3 out? I don't know. It's like in basketball though, when you touch the line out of bounds though, in basketball, you're out, because that's like most sports where you have the ball in your hand and you touch the line. Other than soccer, I guess the ball itself has to go out. But yeah, like if you have a foot on touching a line anywhere, like you're across that line into the
which
border.
I also don't get how you watch that and like don't think that's just a 3. Like undisputed.
LeBron's shot?
Yeah.
Do you see the
I'm watching the slow-mo replay, yeah.
Do you not see how there's all of the space in between his foot and the line disappears, and he could very well be touching the line there? We don't know. It's impossible to tell. It's very close. It's kind of like, it's nuts. Like in a pickup game. No, my thing is,
I feel like
you would call that a 3.
That's a 3.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. But for him to overturn the call, for the ref to overturn the call, I think the ref actually did a good job by sticking to the rules and saying, like, you have to have clear and concise evidence that it is not or that it is a 3.
But why it wasn't a 3 on the first shot, that's what blows my... Because, like, how do you look at that and go, like, yeah, that's a 2?
That is as close as a call could be, though. How that's like, if any legal 3-pointer was called wrong, it would be that one.
Also, I am in the camp of, if something is close, like...
Tie goes to the best case scenario for the player, or what?
Yeah, like, lean that way. And then let the video fix it. You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to go to video anyway.
I suppose.
Like, for example,
it's like so close to the line, it looked like he...
If something is that close and it's like a touchdown or not in football, if the ref doesn't throw his hands up for a touchdown, and it's like that, I am more just lean like, let the cool, fun, big offensive thing happen.
Hmm. Yeah,
maybe that's wrong.
I could definitely see the ref though,
and because if
thinking that his foot was on the line though, like I think that he probably did, because it was that close that from a certain angle it could have looked very much like he was on the line. I don't know.
Yeah,
like that was as close as that call could be. I feel like.
I think it's just because he has blue on his shoes that makes it even worse.
Oh yeah, also
the tip of his shoe is blue.
There was memes afterwards. It was like LeBron's shoes from now on, and it was like these weird basketball shoes that like curve up like an insane amount. Like the toe goes like
elf shoes.
Yeah, because like that, his foot already does kind of do that. You can tell, and if his foot did his toes went down, like they would definitely be on the line, but. They like raise up a little bit, so you can see like the floor beneath the toe of his shoe.
Like, I also wonder if his foot's not even on the ground; it's just what's left of his shoe. Like the KD, like I wear big shoes, so that 3 a couple years ago didn't count.
Yeah,
or was it 2 and not a 3?
Mm-hmm. And so that's why, yeah, once he gets up onto his toes, I think that's why I think it does touch the line.
It could have touched.
Yeah, it's very close at least. You can't. There's definitely no space that you can see on the court. But
I'm shout out to Lagodi X on Twitter for giving me a video to watch, because I had not seen this slow-mo video.
Yeah, a lot of people were mad about it, like agreeing with LeBron. There's some people that were talking about that video, like
there's like a million LeBron people.
Yeah, and people just always want to hate on Tony Brothers too, who made the call. So people just go into an outrage because of the. It involved LeBron, the Lakers, and Tony Brothers, really.
Oh, wow.
3 of the 4 horsemen, of the apocalypse.
Sorry, that just came up and I was like, what? And so then I was reading it and I wasn't giving you my full attention because I'm a jerk.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I just called Tony Brothers, the Lakers, and LeBron 3 of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse.
Well, Tony Brothers' favorite book is the Bible, so you need to take that out of your mouth. Scott Foster loves Braveheart, and his favorite food is Maine blue crab with corn on the cob, baby.
I think it was Maryland.
Yeah, that makes way more sense. Maryland and crabs. Maine also does lobster.
Yeah. Lobster.
Maine is lobster.
Mm-hmm.
The Maryland blue crabs with some corn on the cob, sitting down with the extender, watching Braveheart on the TV. Favorite book, Golf is Not a Game of Perfect. This is all from the Dome. All you haters can lick the bottom of my shoe.
I don't think anybody hated on you for that video. I think everybody kind of thought that was entertaining.
I have no idea. I'm gonna get a full Scott Foster back tattoo. That'll be like a mural of everything he knows and loves.
Wow.
I can't do this. I'm getting a little bit goofy.
That would be a commitment to the bit, for sure.
I kind of want to get it designed, but I don't want to pay for it. ChatGPT's here for that.
Honestly, I don't know.
Hey, ChatGPT, make me an entire
text to image, or
maybe I don't know. Hey, ChatGPT, make me an entire back tattoo modeled after Scott Foster, legendary NBA ref with over 2,000 regular season games and approaching 300 playoff games. Make it involve the Maryland blue crab and corn on the cob, Braveheart, and Golf is Not a Game of Perfect.
Yeah, I think his
and then put Tony Brothers reading the Bible in the background.
I think Scott Foster's favorite TV shows were Ozarks and it
was Ozarks
Shameless.
And Shameless.
And then his favorite musician was Mike. You said Spearhead and Michael Franti, but I looked that up. The artist is Michael Franti and Spearhead. Like, that's one artist.
I just read off of the NBA.
Was that the order it said? Spearhead and Michael Franti?
I don't think I would flip them.
Because the name of the artist is Michael Franti and Spearhead or something like that. Like, I'm pretty sure.
Well, it's still got to
like, if you look up Michael Franti on Spotify, I think that's the name of the artist.
Well, I've got that ref page bookmarked, so let me go find the guy himself.
Yeah, which I believe it's like reggae. It's a reggae vibe.
What? 48. There's the man. Michael Franti and Spearhead. So I flipped them?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know why I did that. Maybe I thought they were like two artists.
I think you did, yeah. Which I did too.
Man,
but
we were pretty on the nose. Oh, I forgot about his bucket list.
Oh, wait. It's to win gold at the U.S. Open Pickleball Championships.
And he can body surf.
Body surf, yeah. Nice. Well, that was some hoop theory trivia. But the last little thing I wanted to touch on for today was the thing from the Pistons game the other night, Pistons versus Jazz, which was a thriller, by the way. I don't know if you saw that. Towards the end of the game, it was like 132, 135. Jazz were up. Pistons had the ball. Bojan Bogdanovic hit a clutch 3 to tie it. And then the Jazz on the other end, Larry Legend, hit another 3 to put the Jazz up again, 138, 135. And then Alec Burks had like the shot of a lifetime, like with just dribbling up the court and just kind of did this weird like floater thing from like 28 feet and just sank it at the buzzer to send it to overtime. The Pistons ended up losing in overtime, but it was crazy end of regulation. But earlier on in this game, I don't know if you saw this clip, but Jalen Duren dunks on a play. I don't know if he really dunked over Walker Kessler. I can't even remember that part of it, but he dunks the basketball and swings around the rim, like kind of hanging on to it because of his momentum carrying him. Nothing wrong with that. But usually the reason people do that are hanging on the rim is so they don't like drop onto
fall on people.
Yeah, somebody below them. But for some reason, Jalen Duren uses his swing around the rim to like kind of turn his body around and then just mount Walker Kessler's shoulders.
He kind of shacked him.
Yeah.
Shaq on a, I should remember the guy's name.
Mike Dunleavy, maybe? Or who is this?
Where he like almost landed on him and then he went. And then that was it.
I don't know if I know the play you're talking about.
No, yes, you for sure do. He did it less like he like
was
him and
this
then,
the guy that after that happened he stands up and throws the ball at Shaq?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember who that was either. He was a white guy though.
I should. Yes.
But yeah, so it was kind of like that, but except Jalen Duren like literally rode Walker Kessler for like 4 steps before falling to the ground. Walker Kessler was like kind of like he like just like ended up pushing him off of him. Like, what in the heck are you doing? There's no way that he didn't. I think he didn't mean for it to go that far. Like he didn't think that he was gonna take a ride, but.
Well, yeah, I think probably what happened is like, oh, I'm gonna land on his shoulders.
Yeah.
And then Walker Kessler's like, I'm just gonna get back on offense and runs back.
Yeah.
And the timing was so perfect
that he just takes him. But yeah, there's no way that he. Yeah, you. The reason you're hanging on the rim there is so you don't come down on a player.
That's the only reason you can hang on to the rim.
Yeah.
That is the only reason the league lets you.
So that was just a stupid.
I heard the whistle because when you brought it up, I like threw up the video so I could see exactly what we're talking about because I did not see it live.
Yeah.
Or in recent because I've been under a hole since like New Year's. I've not seen any basketball really at all.
Mm-hmm.
After the Celtics needed overtime to beat the Pistons, I just needed a break. I was so angry. Anyway.
The whistle. You said something about whistle.
Oh, what was it? Who did the foul end up being on? They blew a whistle.
I only saw the replay. I think that was on Jalen Duren, though. I would guess.
It'd have to be.
Yeah. I know the replay I saw was like, I think it was the Pistons announcers because they were very like acting like that was an accident. Like it was like unfortunate accident by Jalen Duren. It was like, no, it wasn't. Like there's no way to be an NBA player to have like that much body control to like accidentally just completely mount somebody and go for a ride is like, there's no way. He very easily could have avoided that. I think he was just trying to do like have a little, not I don't want to say nasty, but at least a little like chippy altercation, which he definitely got, and he could have got hurt also. That was like a dangerous play, but I just thought that was I've never seen something like that before, where it got taken to the degree that it did. How far it went, how perfect the timing was, also like how you pointed out. But yeah, I think that will be where we wrap up today's episode. We got stuff to get to, so. But we also have a lot of basketball talk to cover within the next episode or so, which probably there's parts of this episode where we kind of went off on some other stuff, but we still got to a good amount here today. So thank you guys for listening, though. Please tune in to the next episode where we will be talking about more things regarding the NBA, probably revisiting either our over-under picks, or we're going to be looking at the power rankings, how they currently stand at the moment, things like that. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. Please go check out all the things, all the shorts that we're posting on TikTok and the other short form platforms. Almost a 5K on TikTok. Still going to do a jersey giveaway. Still need to figure out the details on that, but I will do that very, very soon. And I guess without further ado, please stay happy, stay healthy, and we will talk to you guys next episode.
Peace!